Good afternoon. My name is Glenn Parkinson. Bob and I are going to be taking a look at these skis, the Rossi Strata 102, with an eye on restoring them. This ski was a classic, the Rossi Strata in the 60s. Some of the top racers skied on this ski. It said that Nancy Greene skied an entire World Cup season on this one pair of skis. Times have changed a little bit. The bases are pretty good, but the edges are very rusty, so we'll have to clean that up. You can see the groove. Skis today don't have a groove. I was talking with my nephew the other day and showed him a picture. He says, "What's that indentation on the bottom of the ski?" And I looked at him and I was like, "That's the groove." And then I'm like, he never skied on skis with a groove. So, felt my age. This is from the late 60s. It's set up with the Look Nevada toe and the Look Grand Prix heel. A great combination. This is one of the few bindings from that period that I'd feel comfortable skiing on today. It's technically a very safe binding to ski on. Of course, this was before brakes. You can see that it had Teflon pads underneath the boot and no brakes. So when it released, you'd have this tied to have the ski tied to your ankle. So this is called a safety strap. And when this ski released and you're cartwheeling down the hill, having the ski tied to your leg doesn't feel all that safe. But nevertheless, that's what it was called. We're going to be spending some time disassembling the bindings. We're going to take them off the skis. We're going to clean everything. Stuff is just messy. When I reassemble the bindings, I don't add the grease because I'm expecting no one to ever ski on them. If they are, and I have some that I've set up for skiing again, if they're going to be skied on, again, I always put grease in. Well, relatively clean. I'm gonna stay there. So this is how the binding goes back together. This piece is screwed down. This sits on top of it, like that. Then the plunger goes in, and the plunger is going to line up with this flat face here. And then the spring goes in over the plunger. Screw it in. You're good to go. That being screwed down, it's a totally functional binding. Turntable turns in front of the heel, right? The heel's back here someplace. It shortens the pivot, the length of the lever, meaning the length of the amount of stress being put on the leg by having that shorter lever arm. So it makes it just a bit safer. One other cool feature of the Look Nevada, and that goes right on top. So these screws are not original. This is a posi drive screw, which would not have been original on this. I'll spend some more time cleaning this up, but it's good for now. Functions the same exact principle as the toe. You can adjust the width of these side arms. See, there's two different dimensions there. They slide right on here. So if you've got a thinner boot sole, you'd put the thick side over here. So it's on the inside. So you can adjust the binding to the dimensions of the boot. This is always a little trick. Oops. I'm going to switch hands here. Okay, cool. Like that. On there, glue it down. You're all set. One of the problems with skiing is the forward fall, forward twisting fall. This created a lot of problems with the binding designers because as you lean forward, you put a lot of pressure down on the toe of the boot. And that increase in friction means it takes more effort for the boot to release. So they started doing these. This is Teflon, same thing you got in your fry pan. A piece of Teflon, they glue it right down there. The boot rests on that, so it reduces the friction because Teflon is so slippery. So you can see here, see how that binding will let you partly release and then come back? That's elasticity, that's the ability of the binding to act in an elastic fashion. It can absorb shock and then bring you back. Think of chattering over ice, boom, 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 boom. It creates a lot of that pressure, boom, 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 like that. And the binding will bring you back to center. Helps prevent premature releases.